everyone. We're back with another podcast for you today, and we're talking about something really cool that's happening all over the world and happening here in Pittsburgh as well. It's called Make Music Day, and it also happens here in Pittsburgh, known as Make Music Pittsburgh. And we're going to talk about what that means. And joining me today is Michaela Kizershot White, who is really one of the chief organizers, I'd say one of the chief brains behind making this happen and pulling all this together. Michaela, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share what Make Music Pittsburgh is.
And that is the perfect place to start. So tell us what is this? When is it? What is it?
So Make Music Day is an international celebration, and it happens on the summer solstice. And it started in the 1980s in France, Fête de la Musique. Came to the United States, and there are now over 1,000 cities participating in this across the world. And Pittsburgh got on board. This will be our 6th year in Pittsburgh. And what this normally looks like is folks being out in the community, outdoors, making music, professional musicians, amateur musicians, children, families, just trying to experiment and enjoy making music. And this year, we've moved online to be safe for our community and acknowledge the requirements needed to make sure that everyone can still participate in music making, but follow guidelines.
Right. So summer solstice is June 21st. So this year happens to fall on a Sunday, happens to fall on Father's Day. So great way for people to tune in and participate. We'll talk about how they can do that here in a second. So normally, right, we have these events around town. Okay. But as you mentioned, we're in a virtual way doing it this year, and you've done such an amazing job of creating that and creating this virtual environment for us. What are some of the highlights that people can find on Make Music Day on the 21st?
Yeah, so there are a lot of different things that are normally programmed for Make Music Day. For example, we've had partnerships with the Pittsburgh Ballet Theater and the Children's Museum and the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy. So we really wanted to bring that diversity to our programming, even though it's all in one virtual space. So the morning starts off with something that pretty fun for Father's Day. It's a partnership with Slippery Rock University at 9:30, and they're going to make 3 different instruments or guide families to make 3 different instruments at home that are made out of found objects like paper towel rolls and plastic bottles. And then totally different, we have somebody later in the afternoon called Next Level Sonics. That's the session, and he's going to teach people how to mix their own beats. We have an open mic later in the day where a bunch of different community members, very, very diverse music, coming together and sharing what they've got for, like 5 to 7 minutes per person. And we've got DJs. We also have like a full 11 hours of music. One of the sessions is a yoga and piano session that was really popular last year that we were able to figure out how to put on a virtual opportunity.
So what I really love about this is what you said. It's just it's this diverse day. There's so many different things happening. People can tune in, tune out, they can find the schedule and see what they're interested in. But what I think is really cool is if even if you're not into the thing that's necessarily on right there, leave the stream on all day. Because I think you're just going to find out so many things about Pittsburgh that you didn't know. And really, I didn't know that was a thing that was offered here. And that's why I think this is such an awesome opportunity. Yeah,
there's really something for every interest area.
So how do people tune in? How do people, find a schedule, find out how to tune in? What's the logistics of this?
So we tried to make it as simple as possible. And the easy answer for you is to just go on Facebook and follow our page. When we live stream, there will be an auto-populated box that comes up at the bottom of your screen to say, Make Music Pittsburgh is on live stream right now. If you want to really dig in deep, some people are like, I really want to do the piano session. That's kind of it, but I can't remember what time it was. You can visit our website at makemusicpittsburgh.org, and the schedule of events is there, as well as a direct link that you can click on right at the time that the session starts.
Fantastic. And we'll post the links so people can see those. So many awesome things happening that day. And we certainly hope that in 1 year from now, we're actually outside doing this and gathering together in person.
Yes, very much so.
Michaela, thanks for taking some time to talk to us about this today.
Thank you.
All right, so for the second part of the podcast today, we're going to actually talk about a little of what's actually happening on Make Music Day. So joining me for that piece is Dr. Brittney Trotter, and we're going to talk about what exactly she's going to be doing on Make Music Day here in just a second. But first, I want to talk a little bit about what's your background, what brought you to Pittsburgh. So first of all, Britt, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Tell us about the background. What brought you to Pittsburgh? I think it's a really interesting winding road story.
Yes. So my name is Britt. I am from Laurel, Mississippi, very small town in the South. What brought me to Pittsburgh was I was completing my DMA at West Virginia University. During my last year there, I was teaching at Hope Academy in East Liberty. And then throughout the third year of my DMA, when I realized I didn't have that much coursework to complete in person, I just decided to make the big move and move to Pittsburgh. And I have loved it ever since. Pittsburgh is such a striving hub of cultural and musical background. And it's just been so nice to meet and collaborate with just amazing artists that is in this community.
And so primary instrument is flute. And so let me ask, do you pronounce it flutist or flautist? Because somebody told me if you say flautist, you get paid more at the gig.
Oh, well,
yes.
That's news for me. But I mostly go by flutist. Flautist is like a old English saying to mock. And so you're just saying.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, that the flute player is mocking you somehow.
Oh, all right. Well, now I've learned something. So even though you might get paid more with that one, I'll go with flutist because I think that's the better one. So as it pertains to Make Music Day, you're going to be participating here in that on June 21st, but you have participated before. Let's talk about that part of it first. So last year, before COVID, when we all didn't have to wear masks and life was normal, right? You did something for Make Music Pittsburgh. Tell us about that.
Yes, I played a small concert with my duo called Reunite Duo. It's me and a pianist named Helga. Funny story, me and Helga met while we were working together as teaching artists at Hope Academy. And then we realized that we both graduated with our DMA at West Virginia University, but we just never met.
Yeah,
So,
wild. Okay. So this was an actual outside real world thing.
Yes, it was. We were at this beautiful cemetery and we performed inside our chapel. Just a small little concert of just classical favorites. And then we end the concert with a Earl Gardner tune.
Very cool. Okay. So this year's a little different. We Make Music Pittsburgh, Make Music Day internationally is very much virtual. Make Music Pittsburgh is going to have 11 hours or so of streaming. You're going to be a piece of that with two other folks and talking about community music making in the time of COVID. So what exactly are you guys going to be doing?
Oh, it's a funny story. So we have Zoe Sherrill is the brainchild of this panel discussion, and we're collaborating with Sarah, who is also a Pittsburgh flutist. This was Zoe ideal to have a discussion of how, as artists, that we can fulfill our creativity with the community. And this happened way before COVID started. And so as COVID started, we started to think, wow, like we were really closed-minded and we thought we were very open to like how we can serve the community. But now since this pandemic has happened, it totally rearranged everything that we have thought about. And so it's just been so good to rethink and really connect to see how we can be more involved in the community and how we can nourish ourselves and nourish our audience with what nourishes us.
Yeah, and it's so interestingly enough, I've seen that you've posted some things where here's a performance that I've been able to do, but the world has changed as far as somebody who is a performer and you're out there and you're in front of an audience, at least you were as of 4 months ago on a regular basis. I'm just curious then from your perspective as someone who really does a lot of that, how has that changed your mindset? How has that changed how you look at what performance in music is?
Yeah, it really changed my mindset into the different venues that we thought was accessible or just even being accessible now. We have to realize that internet is a luxury. It's not like
Right.
human right. And so just to convey all of that and to see how we can outreach people more than just the luxury or just the venue. So if I play in this traditional music hall, how am I excluding other people in different communities just from that one placement? How can I make sure that my performances are accessible to different communities?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's fascinating because that does that really is. I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, from the perspective of, yeah, we all go to a performance, and what those performers are doing traditionally always been is geared to those of us in the audience, or vice versa. If we're on stage, I mean, we're thinking about what's right there, and potentially there have been live streams in the past of things, but now it's a whole different ball game, really. And there is that internet access piece. So we're all dependent on how we're doing this right now. We're all living on Zoom. It's not the same music making experience. It's something, but to your point, it's not just about the vehicle of how we do it, but it is, who are we reaching through it, and are they able to actually access this music making experience?
Yes, definitely.
And then how does it play in, I guess I'm just curious to pick your brain a little bit, how does that play in with, for you when, yeah, you've done solo stuff, obviously, but so much of music making is that ensemble work. And being able to collaborate with folks around you. And when you're playing, you're feeding off of, those that you're playing with, whether it be a large group or a small group. What is that like for you now that you don't have that?
I mean, it has been very saddening that I cannot collaborate with my great colleagues, very talented. But it also got me to thinking what are different ways that we can collaborate, such as the acapella app, where I can record a video and then they can record it as well and listen to my audio. It has gotten me to thinking, what if we just record different videos and using technology, how can we infuse this together as well?
It's to me, it's that idea of lifelong learning. We might learn something at one point, and some people think they're done then. Well, no, every day is a new lesson in something. And if this hasn't taught us that, I don't know what will. Britt, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We're going to post the schedule for everything happening on Make Music Day on the website that you can take a look at. Make sure you check out this session. I think it's going to be a great discussion. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
All right, and to all of you, thanks for joining us. Again, everything will be on the website to find out all about Make Music Pittsburgh, and we will see you next time.